She's smart, eh? Yeah, that was the yoke for that canoe over there. For the steering. Oh, wow. This is was a piece of a door that I carved that was from a boat called the Norongo, and it was owned by Barbara Hutton, the actual door. So her hand pulled that and put the key in there. And I thought, well, it's a nice piece of teak. And here's another one down here. This I put a rubber mold on it and pulled it off, and it pulled all the paint off it. But I'll finish this maybe for the show. You can't. There's no way you'll get her eyes to focus on you. She looks past you every time. And here's sort of a deco piece over here. I can turn this for you. Everything has to be finished somehow, sooner or later.
So that we finished yet?
Does it show?
Yeah.
This is a chunk of alder. It was soaking wet when I was carving it. There was water shooting out of the wood. A guy offered me a Mercedes-Benz for it, and I said, "Oh, I don't have a driver's license." And I thought, "You sell the Mercedes-Benz and bring me the money." He didn't like that idea. He said, "No, you sell it." Forget it.
That's beautiful. How old is that? When did you started?
I think it's about 10 years old.
And the wood is
Alder, yeah. And it was soaking wet. Every time I was carving it, there's water shooting out of it. Now it's bone dry. This painting, I kind of wrecked it. I darkened it. So I'll have to bring that up. This I made for Leslie. A teacup man. Let's see. This is juniper. If your camera could only smell what this wood smells like. I love.
That's going to be what?
No, I hope it doesn't look like anything other than shapes and forms, because I try not to make things look like. My abstract stuff has to be totally abstract, and then there's stuff that I can't help it. It starts looking, having human or animal forms, but to make something totally abstract and get away with it is pretty difficult. These are old things that.
How old is that piece over here?
That one? Oh, the original is 15 years ago, I guess. Here, watch this.
Wow.
My daughter named it Divided Minds. Let's see over here. Here's a Ellis Recycle. Not Ellis Recycle. Valley Village. I buy these old teak bowls and recarve them. That's real teak, that wood.
So you will say most of your designs use a mix of West Coast
Well,
art.
I'm totally influenced by West Coast stuff. I just love it. And I've touched the spirit once in a while, and it's very difficult to reach that state. And once in a while I do, and it blows my mind. And I have a lot of fun with people coming here. And there's a little box I made for my daughter. What's my daughter's daughter? Granddaughter, I guess. So I put a teacup man on there, and her name's Vaitea. I put treasures in here. Whoops. And give her some tools. And money, lots of money. Lions, wasp nests that are. And then the weeping cedar woman and an ancient Indian prayer. Dunk. I better finish that. She's coming here in about 2 weeks.
Oh. So that piece over there, we're going first take quick classes.
Oh, that's my Greek buddy. He just came here from Greece and he helped me. I did that in about 20 minutes. just practicing with aquarel and charcoal and using gum arabic and to wash it.
It's a present for him? Or?
Yeah. This is my daughter. That's Tillicum, but she has blonde hair and the artist made her with dark hair. It's advertising a fish company in Washington. When my daughter was about 12 years old, Asia, like spelled like Ahik, Aisha, I carved a little heart out of teak. And you can still see the grain in it. And she had 4 of these cast in bronze about 5 years ago. And this originally was wood. So, and I've mounted, here's another one over here. Pretty cool, eh? And we could jump over here to this awful mermaid. But if you put the camera right there and come down like this, eventually this will be finished. She's hurling that Poseidon's trident into eternity. This is teak. Needs good lighting. Irma decided this was too tall, so we just cut it off.
So this, what is the meaning of this?
Well, those are skunk cabbages. And these are an ancient Greek dolphin and northwest coast creatures and an African gibbon and a worried frog right there. And sort of northwest coast feeling that comes out of everything around here if you look around. There's an albatross pelican. I was going to call it endangered species. It needs the right light. I don't know how it turns out on the film.
So what's the story then?
Well, I had this piece of wood, and a friend of mine said, I'll give you $500 worth of copper for your new boat, for the bottom of my new boat. So I started carving this, and I completely wrecked it. And he said, oh, when you fix it up, I'll bring you some money. It's just a piece of split wood on the beach. And the teacup man's eyeball is one of her.
What can you say about that painting?
That is a unfinished swamp pukmis. She lives in the swamps. And she's ancient, an ancient spirit. We should go up to the house too. I have lots of paintings up there. This one's Cuba. I just call it Cuba. This piece was in Beacon Hill Park, a windfall, and then they cut it up, and it was a spiral, and I rolled it to my studio on Oliphant Street, and it rolled in a straight line. There's no way you could lift it. It was so heavy and wet. And it's Gary Oak. The Eternal Skunk Cabbage. Yeah, I should finish that for the show. It's a mixture of everything.
So that's kind of varnish is the original?
No, this is coming off.
Oh.
This is just to seal up a whole bunch of cracks. In 1983, when Black Frank, the mayor of Nanaimo, I carved it hoping to get some money to get a diesel engine for my boat. And I eventually sold it to the harbor master, and it disappeared and wound up in an art gallery for sale, and I rebought it. So I've got the thing. Maybe now I can finish it.
So you name it this name?
Black Frank. I might as well open a wrecking yard. Look at this fabulous stuff. Look down here. Just beautiful shapes and things. Check this out. I'll turn it for you.
No, I don't think you've seen. There's one in the
The big one over there, I realized I had to make a smaller one to try and get enough money to do that one. So
Wow.
this
How
is a
heavy do you finish?
big pardon.
How heavy do you finish?
Oh, this is at least 100 pounds. That piece of steel there. This is aluminum here. But here's a sledgehammer smashing a real Kalashnikov. Thank goodness we get rid of one more gun. It's probably killed more people than anything else. I like to, I get these already wrecked, but this, I was thinking West Talk. Look at this. It says Young America, double action on that pistol. Yeah. Check this one out. This sculpture should be up about 4 feet, so if one is standing here, their head would be about here, so they look up into this morass. This is made in USSR. This is American. These are some wrenches in the gears of war. This drill bit is grinding away on this planet, and it's connected by molecule. This is a molecule here, and I was thinking of double helixes and all that stuff that we are made out of, and wondering why people keep fighting over that. Come around this way. There's a lightning bolt. Oh, eventually these guys were going to be in it. Two gladiators fighting. They're twins. Look at this. They're trying to kill each other. It's stupid. Human beings are ridiculous. It says here, nunca más, never more war. Here's a dolphin. That's an actual bow of a real pirate ship, by the way. That's a dolphin's eye. There's his little snout. Here's his teeth. Here's his pectoral, and there's his gizzard and all his lungs and weird stuff. Okay, follow me with your camera. Okay. This is the back of the Weeping Cedar Woman, La Llorona de the West Coast. We just welded this on. And I want you to get one shot of Raphael. He's my assistant right now. He's a really cool guy. Okay. This hand, this is going back to Tofino after this was carved for the first mighty protest to stop the logging of Mares Island, taking the old growth. And there's a desire to have it back in Tofino. So this is the third resurrection of it. You can see the leg is rotten here, and everything else is solid. This will all be S1 sealed, so it's solid too. If you come down here and see this hand, that's pointing at the earth. This one up here is saying stop. And she's weeping for the trees. I don't know. You can read into it what you like. Gotta move some of this stuff. Masts and things. This is going to be resurrected in Tofino and on the 20th, it should be standing by the 20th of April, somewhere in Tofino. They're trying to find a place for it now.
So you carved this?
Yeah, 1984. Gosh, 30 years ago. Look at me now. Help. That's a throaty sound going by.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend was trying to make, Gumboot Productions was trying to do a little interview with me, and we were getting more and more frustrated because every time we spoke, car went by or a bus. I want to get out of the city. It just ruined our... So what do you think of that, eh? Lágrimas. Copper tears. Introduce this guy. This is Raphael. He's my friend, and he's assisting me with the Weeping Cedar Woman. He does some bull work for me because I'm getting older and can't work as hard as I used to. Dang, look at the muscles on this guy. I did this in clay, and I bent it back to make it arch like that. And then the actual model stepped on my boat one day, and because the clay had hardened, and it broke right across there. Another friend of mine took the two pieces and fired them. Then I glued them back together with epoxy, gave them to my daughter, and she had about 10 of them cast. Pretty cool. There's a marine Venus, I guess.
So what's happening here?
You tell me.
So you don't...
I don't, if I could describe it, then I wouldn't paint it. I guess. I don't know what they are. I look at them sometimes as junk, and the other times I think, oh, they're different.
But we see a woman there, different face.
Guess so. Here's one of my abstracts. This is really old, this thing. There's more forms. This is a chunk of mahogany. It's unfinished. I carved it in Kingston, Jamaica. I went to Trenchtown to buy this piece of wood. I carved it in Kingston, Jamaica in 1963. And somehow it wound up in Chicago in an art gallery. And my niece was in, and they didn't want it because it was unfinished. And their stuff in the gallery was super modern. So I said to my niece, who lives there, can you go pick this up? They offered it back to me if I paid the postage, and she brought it here. So this turned up in Victoria. How many years ago is 1963? Oh, wow. I got this piece of wood in Trenchtown. You know, for a white guy to go into Trenchtown in those days was very dangerous, but I had a great time. People loved me. I guess I was so stupid and fearless that, oh man, this guy. Okay, let's take a look at this. Here's a canoe I carved out of yew wood. There's the double-headed sea serpent. This is sort of a copy of a West Coast dugout by sort of like a Joe Martin. There's one of my Indian names, Ushapiatu, which is derogatory. It means you're all partied out and it makes you accident prone. This is the cable that used to go from Victoria to Estevan Point at the turn of the century. So all the psychobabble of 2 wars went through that. That's a Laird Campbell. This is my friend David Mackenzie made this star pointer. This points at Polaris, which is steady in the sky. The whole cosmos goes around it, our particular little part of the cosmos. Here's proof that I've been doing it. I carved that when I was living with Mungo Martin. Look at the date, 1954. This is 1953. What were you doing?
I wasn't born.
Oh, don't you ever get paranoid? This is a Charlie Mickey Sr. I don't know who she is, just scribbled it out. This is the Copper Man over here. The moon and the sun. I did this in California in 1958. And that's hitchhiking. I came back from Mexico and did this in, I bet you, not more than 2 hours work after being in Mexico. just let her rip. So here's the Cedar woman. La Llorona. Look at the tears. There's a... Huh. Hey, that could be a poster. Right on. This one here I should take outside to get there some good lighting. This is a swamp pucmus like the one down below that's dreaming in the swamp. And here's a European clinker boat colliding with a dugout canoe from the West Coast style, and they're merging. And you can't go sailing without wind molecules. And there's the skunk cabbages, of course. More skunk cabbages. Paddles. And if you find one of these pieces of stone on the beach, they once were a labret that went in the lower lip. And here's a zonoqua, the swamp pucmus, and whatever else you want to read into it. Her, there's another La Llorona with the river pouring out of her mouth. See what I mean? I look at this, I painted it, but I look at it now and I think, holy crow, where was that person at? They're kind of interesting. Like, see the two babies? I'm in my studio, and there's two pink babies suckling on her breasts, okay? And in walks Sorab. He's 6'4". He's from Iran, with my friend from Barbados, Adrian Bushell. And Sorab says, give me your palette. You gotta have a chocolate baby here. So he mixed up some paint. I took the paint on my hand and I went like this. Like that. And the chocolate baby and a little white baby. Drinking. And she's drinking swamp water. And it's nurturing her, man. With millions of alder trees everywhere. And this is the starving artist here. Look, that's bamboo. De Tomatlan. There's a boat. I wanted to convert a panga.
So,
And
what years was this?
oh, it's a scribble. I did it here after I came back from Mexico. You can see it's all peeling off. And here's a mask. I think they probably look better on film. I had a lot of pieces that were expropriated from me, and Megan said, stop crying about them. So I said, okay, I'll make a whole bunch of new ones. And I drew that in about a couple of hours. La Primavera. I give that to Megan. Cover of Jazz Fest Victoria, I don't know, about 8 years ago. There's my daughter. She's got a baby now, and she's coming from Hawaii. My mom made this. That's my brother and his wife in India. Memories of Mexico. Yeah. Oh, my daughter Telecom's work when she was about 8 or 9. Look at the fangs, even on the sun. The clouds are unhappy. She's mad at me, I think. That's my younger brother. He owns and has founded Nature's Path, health foods. Here's a weird one. I did that when I was 17. I just found it. Ridiculous. That's Joe David, memory of his father. That's one of Tony Hunt's. Yes, I have. Yeah. That's 1875 by Laubigné, contemporary of Emily Carr's, I guess. And we could go through all this stuff here. And boxes full of, I inherited all this stuff. This is how Victoria was in the old days. Look at that thing. Here's that. 1895, sailing off Cape Flattery, heading to Scotland. That's Thermopylae. Now you can't even sail in the inner harbor. Here's another, this is semi-abstract. Unfinished, of course.
So your pieces most of the time are unfinished, all the time you're working on this?
If I could only stop. I can't stop. I look at everything and I want to keep working on it, changing it. It's to a point of, it's mania, definitely mania. And I think what I'm doing right now is I'm cleaning up my act. I'm finishing that little boat, finishing the Cedar Woman. It's back in Tofino once and for all, and I can be free from it. Here's another one. They probably turn out pretty neat on the... This is old.
What year do you think?
Sweet, unsweetened almond oil, seed of life. Oh, I'm supposed to buy that, I guess. I don't know what that's all about. Santa Monica, Venice, California. When we first moved there from here, look, 1960. One of my first impressionist paintings. This is the causeway that goes right down to Pacific Ocean Park. This is a guy who made this on the West Coast. And here's La Serena. Needs a lot of work. And this is Minnie. Minnie.
Minnie. How old is Minnie?
I don't know. She appeared at the door with 3 little babies, and she said, "Help me!" And she has the 3 wild feral babies, and we called up the SPCA or whatever it was, and a woman came by and took captured all 4 cats and took them away, and Megan gave her some money, and about a week, 10 days later, she arrived back and let them all go. I said, "Hey, wait a minute. I thought you were going to take them." "No, we always bring them back to the beginning. Now we're stuck with them." But I've come to absolutely love her and her little boys. She's got 3 males and they're all neutered. And now we tamed one of the wild cats. Let's see. What else?
So that blue one is yours too?
Yeah. If you zoom in on it, it's better. I don't like, some parts of it were never finished, but I didn't want to touch it because I'd wreck it. It's already all dusty. I carved that on Inside Out Beach in Sointula. Excuse me. With a brand new chainsaw. In the morning I came out to the beach where I was carving it, and my chainsaw was gone. Oh. So it was done in a super inspiration, and we cast 2 bronzes. That's the mold there. And too bad all this stuff is packed here, but this is the bench I made for Megan, the double-headed sea serpent. Tony Hunt helped me draw that, and I chiseled it out. And here's one made of cement, a Zonoqual, the wild woman. It's cement, and those are Megan's garden gloves that I filled up with cement and added them. That's withstood all the weather for, gosh, about 8 years. This is the Bastard Prince. That guy is the actual bastard son of the King Olaf of Norway, and he posed for that. We were partying and I carved that. Here's my anti-war hole. Look at that. Multimedia. Hey, I should take that down. Show that to Leslie. She'll like that. Found art. God, I could go to Ellis Recycle and make hundreds of these.
Yeah.
16 by 6
That's okay.
in 4
That's
pieces.
It's not. She's not over.
How long
She's
it took you
within
to
the.
paint it already?
as
I
long as you're
started it
within
in
the
1979
lines,
and
I think that. Well.
I did many stages. Here's another stage of it here. There's how it
No,
started.
it's just like-
There's halfway through. It was rolled up for years. And then I worked on it like a maniac to get it to this stage. And then it disappeared and wound up in an auction. I never got a cent out of it.
Right, I was fixing that.
Different details.
Oh, and I threw away your things. Fuck,
Yeah.
Here's, I want to find the boat for you. There's the boat.
The epoxies.
Okay.
That's, by the way, this book is by my niece, Gurdeep Stevens, my brother's daughter. And I definitely wanted this picture in the book. That's one of my boats. To describe them would take too long. It'd probably take as long as building them. There's some tools I built, and that's a chahyak. They're both chahyaks. Hold on. Oops. This is just some proofs. There, I built that boat. It's a dory called Chu Wei, and this one's an ancient dugout sheathed with copper. There's the shipwreck in Mexico. Naufragio. Marjada arriba, ahora es marjada abajo. And this boat was smashed. So, auto-retrato, self-portrait of my time in San Jose, Costa Rica. There's Cuba. Greece. Saxizi sesio, hiliasu fili, oranos filigi, oranos. La Serena. Oh, there he is. You asked, is that you? You didn't even know. I guess that's when I was fat, eh? 2000, 14 years ago. Mocha House. Wonder why I'm not famous. It's ridiculous. Look at this. Who cares, I guess. Characters. I guess nobody's smiling in any of these. God, I gotta make some new ones.
Yeah.
There's Nick
There's one.
Nick Balf. Yeah,
She's smiling.
Gina. He's smiling. That's Ed Pallister, great guy.
So when did you start painting? Like,
Oh, always. Since the beginning. My mom. See, the beautiful thing about this being finished now is that arm always was too skinny. I'm going to give it lots of muscle right there. Put some steel into it. This was taken quite a while ago. Since it was restored. That's that working on that bench you saw upstairs. It stood in Market Square for a long time, and then it went to Royal Square in 1980. My mother named it Woodstorm. Different aspects of... There's the one in Swans. I gave that to Michael Williams, and he paid off some debts, 3 debts that I had, and I walked away with $1,000 in my pocket. There, oh boy, that's an old picture. That's a press building piece. After I carved this, I met that actual woman.
Oh, really?
Yep. There's the one inside. I gotta finish it somehow. There's one stage of this monstrosity behind you. Nunca más is what we call it.
Nunca más.
Yeah, nevermore. Look at that. The Buddha hand with a broken key. And that's a pair of Smith & Wesson handcuffs, and they're broken. Around here, the closed one is the agony from the Agony in the Ecstasy for Amnesty International. People are so stupid. God. This is teak. These are different angles of one piece. This is called Gurdeep's Fave. There's another shot. Same one. See? This is the megaton one in Press Building. 1972 carved this. That's the red cedar one. So if anybody sees this film, if you go into the Victoria Press Building, you can turn these. They're on bronze spindles, made by Ramsey Machine Works.
So that building is where the Times column is, right?
Yep. See this? I got the front page. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Look how long ago it was. Look at this little guy. Oh, man. Ridiculous. This is yellow cedar one. Yeah, this is all yellow cedar. These are close-ups of this one. So if you go in there, turn them. They put locks on them once because children would come in and start turning them, and they go faster and faster, and the building used to shake. Notice these struts. That's earthquake protection. But not childproof.